a hopeful immigrant in search of the American dream. An angry young American on the hunt for revenge. In just under 4 days, fate will draw them together. Sometimes two lives cross paths and a killer and victim collide head-on in a fatal encounter. It's May 2001, and 27-year-old Race Bouillon is finally realizing his lifelong dream. He's come to Dallas, Texas, from his native Bangladesh to seek his fortune.
He came, like many, to this country for what you and I would call the American dream. Very typical of what this country has been all about to millions of people who've wanted the same thing and who came here for the same reason.
Race comes from a well-to-do, well-educated family, and by the age of 20, he has already achieved his first big dream. He is an elite pilot in the Bangladeshi Air Force. But he has even bigger plans for the rest of his life.
The second dream was to come to USA and go to university, get the best education in the world, and enjoy American freedom.
He believed that the American dream was an achievable thing, and Texas was going to be the place where he made his dream come true. He was going to become a wealthy business person and make his parents proud.
In the meantime, Race needs a job.
Everything in Texas is big. Everything.
He and his friend, Malik, begin working at a gas station convenience store owned by a school friend from back home, who also lets the young men share his house.
Allahu Akbar.
A pious Muslim, Race works hard, long hours. He'll do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. Across town, 31-year-old Mark Stroman is also struggling to make his way.
Mark worked as a laborer. He had experience working with granite and stonework.
Texas born and raised, he is separated from his wife and his 4 young children. He is fighting demons like drug addiction and is often in trouble with the law.
He tried to fit within society's norms of working for a paycheck.
But often prison sentences got in the way of keeping jobs long-term.
In the late summer of 2001, Mark is short on cash. He is working odd jobs, but without a place to live, he moves in with a friend.
He showed up at the friend's house with a couple of baskets of clothing. That's all that Mark had. He was a drifter type, looking for a place to stay, and he was allowed to sleep on the couch.
But Mark has a plan to make some fast cash. He tells a friend he's going to rob stores in the Dallas area. It will be easy, he says. He'll just show the clerk his gun and demand money.
He knew what time of the month there'd be a lot of money in the store. He knew that there wasn't any security guards. And that's what he called it. He called it a robbery.
I hit a lick for 20 grand about 2 months ago.
As the summer winds down, these 2 men are both scraping by on the outskirts of Dallas with very different plans for the future. Then, one clear September morning in 2001, the ground beneath them shifts.
September 11th was really, for the Dallas area, it was a really beautiful day.
It was Tuesday morning, and that was my only day off. And we are getting ready for our breakfast, and then we turn on the TV.
Here at the the top of this tower, there's a huge gaping hole, flames still inside, thick black smoke still coming out. We have not been able to...
I thought I was watching some sorts of animation or something. Maybe a movie is coming pretty soon.
He is inside the building.
And then once I saw, within a few minutes, the second plane hit the tower. Then I realized that no, it gotta be true. And I was thinking that who could do this kind of thing to this peaceful nation?
People are now running down the street. We're not sure if that was another explosion or if that was
In the days after that terrifying morning, the America that Race uprooted his life to find begins to change.
People were angry at Muslims, and I was afraid that, that I need to be careful.
From a law enforcement perspective, anyone from a foreign country, in our opinion, was a potential target. They could be retaliated against, or they could suffer some sort of revenge as a result of the September the 11th attacks.
Race senses danger in the way customers look at him, in the loaded questions they ask.
Hi.
Hi. Where are you from?
Bangladesh.
In my gas station, I saw a lot of customers came in very angry.
He did not feel safe at all after 9/11. He felt like somebody was going to attack him. It really felt like the entire world had changed. It felt like in a single day, everything was going to be different.
For Mark Stroman, September 11th is more than a national tragedy. It quickly becomes an obsession.
Mark Stroman told people he was personally offended by 9/11. He told people he had a sister in the World Trade Center.
According to Mark, his half-sister perished when the World Trade Center collapsed. Now, he cannot tear himself away from the television coverage of the attacks. Day and night, he is watching, and his intense anger is beginning to boil over. In just under 4 days, it will bring him face to face with Race Bouillon, and an American nightmare will begin. It's Monday, September 17th, and Race is working at the store as usual. When he gets a moment of downtime, he grabs a newspaper. One headline catches his eye. On Saturday night, a 46-year-old small business owner named Waqar Hassan, a Muslim from Pakistan, was murdered just down the street from Race's gas station.
Mr. Hassan was a family man. He had a wife, 4 daughters. He opened up a convenience store and he worked a lot of long hours. He was there by himself. It was late at night, around 10:15. Customers were sparse, and Mr. Hassan was preparing a hamburger. There were some buns and meat on the grill.
Police speculated that a gunman walked into the store and shot Mr. Hassan once in the back of the head at close range with a small caliber pistol. But they couldn't determine why.
Cash register wasn't opened or ransacked. When an inventory was made, nothing was missing. There were no witnesses, no surveillance cameras, nothing to give us any idea of why this occurred, much less of who did it.
Race is deeply disturbed by the fact that the FBI is involved in the case.
We did notify the FBI. We thought it might be a hate crime because of the no motive factor. Maybe because of 9/11, maybe because of the mood of the country and what was going on, that somebody had decided to take their revenge on this Pakistan store owner.
Race already senses anger at Muslims all around him. Now, with the specter of a vigilante on the loose, his fears for his own safety are mounting. What he doesn't know, what no one knew at the time, is that the gunman who shot Mr. Hassan in cold blood is Mark Stroman. Coming up, as time ticks away, hate fuels a violent plan.
Mark was taking the time to case his locations, to watch for what would be his best time to commit these offenses.
Here at the top of this tower, there's a
In the days after September 11th, Bangladeshi immigrant Reis Bhuiyan is afraid of backlash against Muslims like him who are working in the suburbs of Dallas.
After September 11, I was feeling that something is not going right. I could feel that, uneasiness in my stomach. People were angry at Muslims, very angry.
It's Tuesday, September 18th. After another long day of work at the gas station, Ray sits down for a conversation with his boss. He is haunted by the recent murder of Waqar Hassan, a Muslim immigrant working in a store just down the road.
There was no clue who killed him. There could be possible link of 9/11. I was very afraid, and I thought about I should do something for my safety, for my protection.
I'm just really worried,
Race is nervous about the lack of security in the store. He works there alone at all hours, and the store's security camera is not currently functioning.
At the store, maybe fix the
He tells his boss about his concerns.
not the man.
I asked him that if he could increase either the manpower or the security, because in the evening after the sun goes down, that area is extremely scary.
But money is tight. Race will have to continue working alone without a security camera and in a state of rising anxiety. He is not accustomed to feeling so afraid all the time. Race's childhood in Bangladesh was happy and peaceful.
He was surrounded by comfort, love, certainly a loving set of parents, and I've heard him speak quite admirably about his mom.
Race?
I was very close with my mother, and she taught us a lot of good things and raised us very well with lots of good morals.
You know you're going to be
The day I left my home for the military school, my mother sat with me and told me that if anyone hurt you in any way, don't do the same thing to them. Forgive them and move on. And if you forgive them, today or tomorrow they'll come back to you and they will ask for forgiveness. In Islam, it says that if your mom is not happy, if she's not satisfied on you, it doesn't matter what you do in your life, the door of heaven is closed for you.
In another country and a world apart, Mark Stroman was living a very different life.
His upbringing was the polar opposite of Ray's. It was, in some ways, the American nightmare.
He had abusive parents, an alcoholic mom and an abusive stepdad.
His mother told him at one point that she would have aborted him had she had $50 more.
He tried to run away from home so many times. By the time he was 10 years old, he had an upbringing that no one would want.
By the time he was an adult, Mark had a long criminal record. He had spent time in some of Texas's toughest prisons. And somewhere along the way, he learned to hate.
Mark Stroman was an avowed white supremacist and was very, very racist, overtly so.
He had racist views against not only African Americans, the Jewish culture, Mexican Americans. This swastika tattoo on his chest was a definite sign of his beliefs.
With this seething anger brewing beneath the surface, in the days after 9/11, Mark began a new criminal enterprise. He had been planning to rob local stores. Now, he decides that the innocent, hardworking immigrants who work there should pay the ultimate price for Al-Qaeda's terrorist attacks.
Mark was taking the time to case his locations, to watch for what would be his best time to commit these offenses, so he would be assured to be successful.
Waqar Hassan was Mark's first victim, but he has plans to strike again. It's late at night on Wednesday the 19th. Race and his friend Malik are at home with their boss after another long day. Tonight, it's Malik who needs to have an important conversation.
The way Malik was working, he did not like. His schedule, his working hours, and there are many things he did not like.
I didn't have no life, you know. I was thinking Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's nothing like that.
2 8 hours.
And then I decided I cannot do this, you know. I want to do something better.
I want to try somewhere new.
Malik tells the gas station owner he's decided to quit.
I understand.
The owner accepts the news. He tells Race that he will have to take over Malik's morning shifts in addition to working in the evenings. Race decides to accept the extra hours.
If I quit like Malik did, then my friend, the owner, he'll be in a bad situation. How can I turn my back to a friend where he needs someone?
And that put him in an even more vulnerable situation where he was working constantly and alone all the time.
Race will soon discover that he has every reason to be afraid. Mark Stroman is hunting for the next unlucky target of his blind rage, and he'll find it right here in Dallas. Coming up, Race is tormented by violent dreams.
I had the feelings that it's a warning for me to get out from this place.
Just down the street from the gas station where Race Bouyan works in Dallas, Muslim store owner Waqar Hassan was murdered in a suspected hate crime. Mark Stroman is the killer, but nobody knows it.
There's no doubt in my mind that if Mr. Hassan would have had a working surveillance video, that Mark Stroman would have been identified and captured, and his crime spree would have ended without hurting anyone else.
But Mark Stroman is still free, and it's only a matter of hours before he will strike next. Stroman, like many Americans, is filled with rage at the events of September 11th. Unlike most Americans, he has decided to take matters into his own hands.
Mark Stroman had decided he was going to get revenge for 9/11. He believed he was going to become an American hero.
But Mark's logic is tragically twisted. Frustrated with the immigrants he encounters around him, he believes they shouldn't be enjoying the same freedoms as born and bred Americans, people like himself, and the half-sister he claims to have lost in the World Trade Center.
What Mark did is a clear indication of his lack of education, coupled with his devastating racism.
Anybody to him that looked Middle Eastern was a good enough target.
Where they were from could be anybody's guess.
And for Mark, his victims are not hard to spot.
This is the 8th largest city in the United States, and there are thousands of people here from virtually all over the world. It's very common to walk into most any convenience store anywhere in the city and to find people from elsewhere in the world who are working there or who are the managers. This is probably the norm in this city.
It's Thursday, September 20th. Mark Stroman and Race Bouyan will meet in 21 hours. And Mark will continue his campaign of hate. He will bring his weapon of choice, a gun, and he has many to choose from.
But he had, I believe, an AK-47,
This here, double-barrel shotgun.
a 410
You don't even gotta aim.
double-barrel shotgun,
Man, check this
and he also carried a 44 Magnum revolver, commonly referred to as the Dirty Harry weapon.
Boom!
But all of these weapons were very deadly, very dangerous, and he was fascinated by them.
He did have a very large gun collection, a big fan of firearms, was very proud of them, liked to pose with photos with guns.
Oh, man, that's badass.
Mark Strumman was the type that he would like to beat his chest and show off and show how big and bad and tough he is.
This is a bad dude right here.
Would invite friends over to just to shoot guns, which is actually not so rare in Texas, but more frightening combined with his physical abuse history, his criminal history, and his racist beliefs.
At 5 p.m., Race is working at the store. His friend, who works in the barber shop next door, drops by to check in on him. But that doesn't ease his growing fear. The murder of Waqar Hassan continues to haunt him. His store's security system is still not working. And the community where he works isn't exactly safe to begin with.
Many occasions I encountered customers. They stole items from the store. They even ran away without paying for the gas. I mean, there were gunshots almost every other night. To me, USA was a good place. Everybody's nice over there, civilized, educated, and they don't do this kind of, bad things. I was shocked at the beginning, but then I realized there are good people, bad people everywhere.
Race learned this hard lesson in a harrowing encounter just a month before the September 11th attacks. One August day, at 2:30 p.m., a customer walked into the store. Nothing seemed unusual at first.
Then he pulled a gun, and I thought that he wants to sell his gun. Because in that gas station, many times people came with their computer, their laptop, their printer, jewelries, just to sell and make some quick cash.
How much? How much for what?
And I said, how much you want? And he said, no, give me the money. I said, yes, but how much you want for this? He told me again, give me the money. So on the third time, once I said, how much? He said, give me all the money, otherwise I'll blow your brain. That time I realized I'm being robbed.
Okay. Hurry up! Okay, please, don't shoot. Wait.
Race could barely get over his shock in time to act.
So I opened the cash register right away and I said, don't shoot me, I'm giving all the money. He took it and he left. And I was just kind of like thinking that did it really happen, or I was going through a hallucination that I'm being robbed at a gunpoint, 2:30 p.m. in USA. That's a dream country to me. So I called my friend, the owner, and he said, just call 911 and let the cops handle the situation.
911? I've just been robbed.
The memory of this armed robbery only adds to Race's fear that he is in imminent danger.
I had the feelings that it's a warning for me to get out from this place.
It's now 2 a.m. on September 21st. For the third night in a row, Race is having the same horrifying nightmare. In his dream, he's being robbed. The gun goes off. He's shot.
I was thinking that why I'm seeing the same dream again and again. Definitely there's a meaning behind. Definitely someone is trying to give me some message.
In just over 9 hours, Race will understand the warning his dreams seem to be sending him. Unfortunately, it will be too late. Up next, Race's chilling dream becomes a reality.
Race looked out the window and saw a guy carrying something that looked like metal in his hand, and Race felt like these were his nightmares coming true.
For weeks, Race Bouillon has been living with the fear that he might be the object of a violent attack. His fears are well-founded. Fueled by rage, Mark Stroman is armed, dangerous, and has already killed another man. It's September 21st, 6 hours before Race and Mark will meet. Race has just opened the gas station, but he shouldn't have been there at all.
Since Malik quit, I covered his morning shift and opened the station, I believe, around 6:30.
Sometimes I look back and I think, you know what, if I wouldn't quit that day, you know, probably I would be dead now.
A few miles away, Mark Stroman is preparing for battle. He packs a double-barrel shotgun pistol and heads out into the Texas sun. There's one more detail. Mark has concocted a simple way to try and ensure his anonymity. It required some advanced preparation and a stolen temporary license plate.
Mark would take a temporary plate and photocopy it and then overlay that tag onto cardboard to make it look like a good plate. Mark would put the fraudulent temporary tag on the back of his vehicle because he knew that if that tag was obtained by a witness, that it could not be traced back to him. And that was part of his method to committing the offenses.
It's not foolproof, but it might do the trick. And Mark has already managed to get away with one cold-blooded murder. Just before 12:30, Mark Stroman pulls up to Race's gas station. It's a slow day, so there aren't many people around. He pauses. It appears that Race has a visitor.
My next-door neighbor, the barbershop guy, he came to our store and talked to me for a few minutes.
Hey, what's going on?
Whenever their business is to be slow, they used to come to our place and just hang out a little bit.
How's the day?
All good, yeah.
I was new to this country, and they are from here. A lot of things I didn't know about the culture, so I used to ask them, how do you do this, how do you do that? And they're always very friendly, very nice to tell me those little cultural things.
Good time to get that haircut. Looks much better.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
What Race doesn't know is that the minute his friend walks out that door, he will come face to face with the worst that American culture has to offer. Race is now alone in the store, oblivious to the chaos about to unfold. Just outside, Mark Stroman waits for the coast to clear, and then he makes his move. Race looks up and sees another customer headed for the station.
Wearing a baseball cap, black color sunglasses, and there was something under his nose, looked like a piece of clothes. And then I saw there was something he was holding in his hand, shiny black, but I was not sure what was that. I thought about that, why a customer is coming to the station with this kind of outfit and appearance. Is it going to be a robbery?
As soon as Mark enters the store, Ray sees that he is holding what looks like a small-sized double-barrel shotgun. Race knows what to do.
So right away I opened the cash register and I said, here's all the money.
Please, don't shoot me. Take the money.
For the second time in 2 months, Race is staring down the barrel of a gun. Then, in a split second of terror, he realizes that this encounter might turn out much, much worse.
I saw he was not really looking at the cash, he was looking at me directly. and I could feel that cold air flow through my spine. He is not here for money. He is here for something else.
Coming up next, the face-off between Mark and Race turns deadly.
I saw the gunman was still standing and looking at me, and I thought that if I don't do something, maybe he will shoot me.
It's been only seconds since Mark Stroman entered Race Bouyan's store and pointed a shotgun pistol at his face. Ray suspects this encounter might not be a robbery. He's emptied the cash register onto the counter, but Mark doesn't even seem to notice.
Here we have this tense, surreal moment of the two of them in very close proximity, and Ray's really having no idea exactly what was going on. He knew that it was not about money, that Mark Stroman wanted something else.
Where are you from?
Then he asked me, where are you from?
And which is a pretty atypical question of anybody walking into a convenience store with a shotgun.
And I was not sure exactly why he needs to know where I was from, because he's here for money. So I said, excuse me.
And that was all it took. Mark Stroman pulled the trigger.
I felt the sensation of millions of bees stinging my face, and then I heard an explosion.
38 searing hot pellets went directly into Ray Bouyan's face, and one went directly into his pupil, and it lodged millimeters from his brain.
I thought that, why I got this sharp pain in my face, in my head, happened to me. Then I looked down at the floor, and I saw blood was pouring like an open faucet from the right side of my head and my face.
Yeah, he had been shot, but he hadn't been knocked to the floor.
And I saw the gunman was still standing and looking at me. And I thought that if I don't do something, maybe he will shoot me again.
Race decides he has only one option to save himself. He'd have to play dead.
I remember myself screaming, "Mom," very loudly.
Mom!
And I jumped on the floor.
As Mark hovers above the counter, Race lies trembling in a pool of his own blood, waiting for Mark to pull the trigger again. And then, Race has a life-saving stroke of luck.
I heard the door was opening and closed as well. And the gunman left.
Mark Stroman is gone. Unbelievably, Race is still alive and can pull himself to his feet.
And I was thinking at that time that he shot me in the head, he shot me in the face. I'm dying today, definitely I'm dying today. I have to keep my brains from spilling out. Is there anything I can do to save myself, to save my life? And I thought that should I call 911 or should I go outside? But then I was thinking that I have nothing to lose at this moment. Just go outside.
Ray stumbles next door to the barber shop.
We'll just put a laxer on it too.
Goes in the door, starts asking for help, and they're looking at him like he's a monster.
Oh man! Oh!
Call 911.
And I could catch one of them, and I said, please call 911. I'm dying, and I don't want to die today.
This is the barbershop.
Then, Race catches a glimpse of himself in the mirror.
My face became like a horror face. I couldn't believe that that was my face. That was me.
Horrified and still fighting for his life, Race heads outside to wait for the ambulance.
I was running in the parking lot, and I kept reciting from Holy Quran, and I was asking that God, don't take me today. I'm too young. I haven't seen anything. I haven't done anything. I mean, give me a chance. And I promise that if you give me a chance, I will devote my life for others.
Race is transported to the hospital. He comes to after surgery hours later.
And that's a moment I will never ever forget in my life. That's the moment I think about every single day once I wake up. Because I realize that how life is precious. It doesn't matter you're in the hospital, you are in a prison, you are in the street, but you are still in this world. You'll be able to see the beauty of this world.
The race will lose sight in his right eye. He has survived a brutal crime. But so has Mark Stroman. On October 4th at 6:30 a.m., he would strike one last time. His third victim is an Indian immigrant named Vasudev Patel, another hard-working family man who owns and operates a nearby gas station.
He had just opened the store. He was preparing for a busy day.
As Mr. Patel works at the register, Mark Stroman descends, gun in hand.
Mark opened the door. He made a statement, "Give me the money," pulled the gun up, and immediately fired a shot.
Shoots him in cold blood and left Mr. Patel there to die.
Unable to open the cash register, Stroman leaves the scene unscathed. But this time, a working security camera catches him in the act. It's his undoing.
Got the whole thing on tape right now.
Within 24 hours, he is arrested. During questioning, he admits to shooting Mr. Patel. But police cannot connect him to the crimes against Reis Bhuiyan and Waqar Hassan. He is indicted on capital murder charges. Then, while in prison months later, Stroman makes a stunning public statement.
He very proudly confessed to the two crimes for which he was not charged, these unsolved crimes. And he told people that before 9/11, he would have been a serial killer, but in the wake of 9/11, that he was an American hero. An appalling idea that he was killing these people for the rest of us.
In April of 2002, Mark is convicted and sentenced to death for the capital murder of Vasudev Patel. His claim that he lost a half-sister in the September 11th attacks is never substantiated. He calls himself the Arab Slayer and believes he's acted bravely in defense of America. The tragic reality is that he shot 3 innocent men in cold blood. Immigrants from Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. And only one survived. Recovery is long and arduous for Reis Bhuiyan. But he doesn't just survive the attack, he thrives.
Reis Bhuiyan's been able to piece his life back together. He's a very successful executive in the IT field. He gets to travel the world.
Then, almost 10 years after Mark tried to take his life, Reis makes a shocking decision.
Reis contacted me in September of 2010, indicated that he wanted to begin a campaign to save the life of Mark Stroman, who was condemned to death and had an execution date set for July of 2011.
Islam and my mother taught me that forgiveness is the best policy. And the person who can forgive easily is the best. My goal was to save a human life because I realized that killing is not a solution. I realized that by executing Mark Stroman, we will not achieve anything. We will simply lose a human life without dealing with the root cause, which is hate.
It was incredible that he wanted to stop the execution of the man who had tried to kill him, the man who had shot him in the face.
Race is motivated further in his campaign by the fact that Mark Stroman has begun to show signs of regret.
Mark Stroman decided that he wanted to disavow his racist beliefs. He changed his mind. He felt like he no longer had that hate inside of him, and he wanted to tell other people with the white supremacist and hate beliefs that that was not the right way to feel anymore.
Reyes hopes to meet with Mark face to face.
The execution date was set for July 20th, 2011. Reyes sued the state of Texas and Rick Perry in an effort to stop the execution.
Though he campaigns tirelessly, Reyes will never meet Mark Stroman in person. But on July 20th, they do get one chance to speak to each other.
The day of execution, I was in a court. I was fighting for Mark's life.
A friend connects them by cell phone.
And Mark, kept telling me that, Reyes, that thank you so much for what you've been doing. You're amazing. Thank you, bro. I love you. Okay. Can you imagine that 10 years back, it's the same guy. He tried to end my life, and now he's telling me that, yes, that thank you, bro, and I love you.
They communicated for just a matter of seconds.
And Mark told me that, Reyes, I have to go. They're calling me.
All right. At 8:53 p.m. on July 20th, Mark Stroman was executed by the state of Texas. His death felt like a powerful loss to Reyes Bouillon, but his encounter with Mark has given his life purpose.
He has achieved his own American dream. He started his own organization called World Without Hate, dedicated to stopping people like Mark Stroman before they get started. Seeing a man fight to save the life of a man who tried to kill him, it changes your perspective, changes the way that we think of criminals and victims.
And Reyes finds comfort in Mark Stroman's final words, transcribed in the execution chamber.
Even though I lay on this gurney, seconds away from my death, I am at total peace. Hate is going on in this world, and it has to stop. Hate causes a lifetime of pain. I am still a proud American. Texas loud, Texas proud. God bless America. God bless everyone. It's been a great honor. I feel it. I'm going to sleep now. Good night. 1, 2, there it goes.